Hello, guys. We're live.
Hello, guys.
Right before we came live, right? I was just joking. Alvin, where are you live streaming from? It looks so dark.
Yeah,
Dude,
I'm literally at our side.
outside, yeah. I mean, Alvin is always very hardworking in terms of talking to builders, networking with people, and also building his dedicated community in Taiwan. I truly respect that perspective, Alvin. Like you're just the demonstration of like commitment, and I know you are not exactly an extroverted person, but you still dedicated your time and patience to so much things, which that part I need I have a lot to learn from you. I'm not
Oh,
like I guess I can be functional extrovert, but it does consume a lot of energy when I stay in one social event for too long.
yeah. Like you said, I'm totally not a interesting extroverted person initially because I'm totally not a person that will publish my own video and being a YouTuber at first time. All uh out of out of the mind that start my own business and brand, then I know the importance to stand out and be yourself with your brand. Because I know that um, the current stage, the internet boom era, we need to be ourselves and be representative with our brand, so that people will uh, not only get familiar with your brand, but also um, yourself can be the positive and um, 3D, and you can be the one that people can easily connect with the brand. So I think that's the a new trend for not only build your own business but also doing some business like content media. Yeah, and I found this trend about like 2 years ago when we still made a lot of YouTube videos at that time, and we turned to publish content on Twitter. I know that like personal personal media will gradually um, like replace the traditional media, not only Web2
Mm,
media but also Web3 media, because people know all information from personal brand will be like um, be more backup, not only from brand, because I think from personal perspective we can share the real experiences, and that's the audience needs. Yes. So that's why I started my own personal content at that time. And actually, publishing content in such a bearish market was a like it was a hard time at that time, because you know that not so much people will pay attention to the market, but you need to do that. So
mm,
I had a lot of great connections um, when we built during the bear market like 2 years ago. And right now, I think uh, it's right again. We can like build some solid connections in such a bearish market, like the recent vibe coding trend. Because I know that on some real OGs, like they do crypto media like 4 to 5 years ago. They also embrace the vibe coding trend recently, and you know that you can truly make some connections with them and do some interesting products on top of
mm,
the like the useful LLMs, algorithms, and useful prompt, etc.
mm, mm. I I completely anchor with you on this because I also started to post Twitter as well as on YouTube exactly around like the middle of 2022. So it has been like almost a 3 year, 4 year journey for me. And while I'm building my like personal account content, my role or the things I've been doing has shifted a lot, right? From uh from like being purely an observer or being purely more like a content creator to then you build like different products and then to you actually build your own company like for the second time and then actually dive more deeper back into content creation because as I think like some of my followers who have been like following me for a while, you guys have should also notice the difference. Like recently, I also increased my frequency as well as the intensity of the content that I push out. It's actually because of the recent market and the change has shaped and shifted a lot of my internal thoughts. Uh, but I'm truly embracing the changes right now and enjoying the current moment because the burst of the idea for content creation doesn't come that easily. I think like this is like for so many years for the first time I feel like definitely need to write right now. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to stay at home, read and write. So I will cherish this moment for maybe a couple more weeks and I will report back. And then
Mm.
today, let's kick off our official show. We have prepared a couple of really interesting topics. I think like people are very a lot of people are talking about it in on the timeline, right? Yesterday,
Yes.
the FOMC meeting finally happened. The Fed has like released their uh, decisions about whether they are going to cut the interest rate as well as buying short-term bonds, which is a very interesting tactic that we haven't seen for a while. On the other side, we are still waiting for the Bank of Japan to release their decision of like raising the interest
Yes.
rate. And
BOJ.
we yeah, the BOJ decision upcoming in 7 days, guys. I'm
Yes.
actually I'm nervous because this also gonna shift the liquidity and the global liquidity a lot, right? But anyways, we're also gonna talk about stablecoin mode. Like there's definitely ongoing stablecoin war, globally, locally, within
Yes.
crypto, and then there are also things coming out of the crypto to build stablecoins. So we definitely want to talk about like what they're good at, what their existing mode is, and then what will be the competitive landscape in the next like 1 to 2 years. And then
Yes.
after that, if we still have time, we will talk about AI prompting because this is I think Alva has already pushed out a lot of awesome content about like how he is using AI to do vibe coding as well as like extracting information, prompting and helping himself as well as like all his audience to generate like useful knowledge. So we can also talk about that. But let's
Mm.
talk about the FOMC meeting.
Mm.
Uh, I actually wrote such a long article this morning to talk about this, and I I would just share my screen. I know because like yesterday after I see the after I see the meeting results, right, even right before the meeting, I was like, okay, I think I can feel a QE era is coming, but
Yes.
it's not the exact QE era that we were looking for, and the FOMC meeting just exactly shows like what or or just like demonstrated why because to be honest like I think a lot of people are cheering the fact that okay the Fed decided to decrease the interest rate by like 0.25 or 0.35%, right? Which is a great news. But then majority of the people or audience, they're gonna think, oh, this is QE, but this is not the same QE as we are thinking before. Because
Ah.
like for for since like 2008 to 2022, all the global international banks, right? The Federal Reserve banks like China, Japan, Europe, like no matter like in reality what they have been doing, but like on the surface level or whatever they're claiming, they're all kind of moving the same direction, which is like quantitative easing. They want to have more liquidity in the global market, especially Japan, right? Japan has been doing this for more than 10 years. And as we discussed before, right, they're the biggest lender in the global market with zero or even negative interest rate. But now they give up. right? They have already been signaling, okay, the negative rates are gone. Uh, we will not have the YCC control, and then um, the global carry market will be shaped or changed a lot. And then so it's the first time that I think like the America and Japan are moving in the opposite direction, which I think this could be the exact turning point. And me personally, I think the reason why the U.S. is saying, oh, they are going to buy the short term bonds on a surface level, this is also a bullish news for I guess more assets with higher risk, right? Because like all those injected liquidity will be also chasing assets that will have a little bit like that are a little bit high on the risk curve. But that this also shows exactly the concerns that the federal government has. From my personal perspective, I think like when Japan they said they're gonna raise the interest rate like almost like 20 days or a month before their official meeting. It's a gesture. Maybe it's a nice gesture to say, oh, we're gonna do this. But also they also want to give like different governments, especially like United States, the enough time to prepare for this. So the Fed is kind of like giving a buffer, a liquidity buffer to this, even though like the current like overnight rate versus the actual bond rate is like is conversion or is almost the same, meaning the banks don't have the liquidity issue, but the federal government is still concerned and they want to inject the liquidity. So I think like we should just be more cautious. Um, like it's not the time to celebrate for the liquidity injection yet, right? Like wait for 6 or 7 more days, see how the global liquidity gonna react after the Bank of Japan meeting. And on the other side, on a personal note, right? I think I also want to write a separate piece about, okay, the upcoming fluctuation on the fiats, meaning like USD, you have like JPY, you also have like Chinese yen, because the person who because sometimes I need to like exchange USD to Chinese yen sometimes just for like for shipping or for some other like small stuffs. And today, the person who usually helped me to exchange, he asked me, he was like, "Oh, do you want to exchange USD to Chinese yuan?" And then here's the exchange rate. And I was surprised because he never messaged me. I'm like, "What's going on?" Right before the live stream. Okay, I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" So that just like rang a bell in my mind. Like, but what are your thoughts, Owen?
You mean for the economy or
Yeah, yeah, for the economy. Or I guess like we should talk about like a little bit about crypto. So I will
yeah.
walk you guys through. And I probably will make some changes to the article because after I publish it, right? And I thought about this again because the main problem that I want to talk about is the three asymmetric bets for 2026. The most important I guess take I want to make here is a lot of people on the timeline they are arguing about why people are creating those like tokenized equity or tokenized real estate, tokenized RWAs on chain. They were like, oh, not a lot of people are trading that. But that's not the point. The point is not for crypto natives to trade them.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally
At the
not.
very first place, it's
We can
unlocking.
directly
Yeah.
see the topic about that people talking about the recent SpaceX IPO thing, and you can see all the market are is discussing this kind of um incident, and also there are some
Mm.
pre IPO trading platform also supported like this kind of asset. They can onboard lots of crypto investors for this. So
Yeah.
it's like an intersection of Web2 investors and Web3 native players to get into this kind of assets. Like we can now only trade um like, Anthropic, SpaceX, um, something like this. We can trade on Hyperliquid. So I think it's still a long way to go, and we are just starting. Yeah.
I think it's two things, right? First of all, is like what I talk about here is the collateral velocity. Because think about it, like if you own real estate in US or in anywhere like across the globe, as long as that asset has value, right? But it's 100% illiquid. It's not composable. You cannot fractionalize it, right? You cannot say, or I collateralize part of it, and then putting all those assets, no matter like gold or real estate or real world assets, let's say like a physical infra for AI computational system, it's just like helping those illiquid assets to get more leverage. It's almost like adding leverage to those assets, right? Who all those traditional like I guess all those traditional investors when they have stocks, when they have real estate, right? What they can do is they have a I guess a private wealth manager, and then those banks they will take his or her or the whole family's credit and then maybe loan money. But with with all the assets being on chain, all those friction or all those chatting with their like wealth managers is can be minimized, right? You literally you just go on chain as long as there's liquidity, as long as some people are willing to take your collateral, you can borrow that fucking money instantly and then you can return that money instantly. So it's actually the hyper utilization of those assets. It's like making those traditional assets more liquid. So I'm telling you, crypto people, it's not going to be us trading them. It's gonna be all the Wall Street people, the traditional finance people, because this just unlock more liquidity and more room for them to work with all those assets. That's the number one main point. Second point, okay, forgot my second point. Second point is price discovery, as what you said, right? For those like private equity pre-IPO, or even like pre-listed tokens, right? So price discovery just happens more simultaneously, more seamlessly across all those different markets, and it makes the price discovery more efficient. And I think this is a very good news for investors or for traders, because literally, like if you think you are smart, you are intelligent, you can build a system that's like just like capture alpha, or then, like as the technology more mature, as people or different financial institutions are putting information and tokenize their assets on the chain, you actually get more edge. Because before it's all those frictions coming from like traditional financial institutions, those asset issuers, or those oracles, or all those market makers, whoever is like pricing it, right? Using private data, like they use their API, like provide pricing. They can sometimes stop the quote, they can sometimes pause it. But then as the competition or as the velocity of all those different assets and price discovery process, like all moving on chain, it's actually using it's actually pushing all those financial institutions to have more transparency or to behave morally with integrity in a way, like using technology. So okay, so that's why I say I wanna update the article a little bit. But then on the other side is like I recommended the liquidity strategy. I think I will add a section where it's like the satellite assets, given like how bullish people are right now, and then essentially it's like we should be tapping into the volatility as a yield source. Because
Yes.
I firmly believe like the burning your protocols token or giving out points is not sustainable, no matter what you guys said. I talk with so many different ecosystems every single day. And I'm still having those business negotiations because this is the existing landscape, right? I don't want the Sprout users to miss out on those points on their token allocation when those projects gonna do TGE. But I'm just saying this landscape is not going to be forever. In the future, or the actual meta for 2026, what I see will be like tapping or converting those volatility into a yield source. And I firmly believe that Sprout is at the front line of this. I know a couple of like other individuals who have been already like benefiting a lot from the volatility, but I don't think the mainstream users or even like a lot of people they think, oh, they are the DeFi experts on Twitter. They're talking about it. They just say, oh, I'm too busy. I don't. I chatted with some market makers, and they know this is a potential opportunity, but they're kind of saying, "Oh, the liquidity is still not good." But my point is, if you think the liquidity for those assets right now is not good, this is the exact moment you need to start build those systems as well as those tools to capture the volatility. Because once the liquidity is maturing, what kind of edge do you think you're gonna have? But anyways, that's enough ranting on like my upcoming, I guess my best asymmetrical best 2026. I will update this I guess the best a little bit after the live stream, and hopefully this like gonna comprehend this can complete my whole thinking process. But please bear with me because, guys, I literally typed this article yesterday, like starting from yesterday afternoon to midnight. And then I started with like a 2000 or 3000 words draft, and now I cut it to like 2000. And then I maybe like in the future I should just like put more time into like editing the essays or the articles. It's just like more of the timing. I just feel so pumped. I'm like, I have to publish this piece. Anyway, cool. Okay. Mm, Alvin, any thoughts you want to add to the FOMC meeting, or we just continue to monitor?
Yes, actually, the the interest card this time, people also discussing um, Fed for buying the Feds in public, and one of the perspective also no also saying that this time it's not QE but RMP, like reserve management purchases. So it's also one of the ways that the government will put their um, funds into the market. So I think the result compared to our expectation will maybe more bullish because we know that if like funds were getting into the market, what happened right now or next will be like the market will be favored with like the a more volatile assets like cryptocurrency. And right now we are in the stage that many big narratives are coming out, like robots, AI agents, prediction market, and so on. Yeah. So I think
Mm.
maybe um, we can still like um, see some bullish to some extent, starting from like next January or February.
Yeah, I think also another thing to watch out is like next year. I think the Fed hinted at least like 1 to 2 interest rate cuts. So we will continue to monitor. But I'm just saying like the whole purpose of me why writing those article is more like, okay, I think like we need to learn to deal with the uncertainty and the volatility in the market. And a lot of people just maybe like put too much focus on like individual assets instead of looking at the bigger picture. And this is the right moment where we actually like start to look more at like micro economy and how it's like shifting the crypto liquidity plus the the other like fiat liquidity, right? Because all the worlds are merging together, and I don't think we have a choice in this to say, oh, crypto will just have independent pricing curve. Like
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I think no matter the asset level, but also information and knowledge will also be overlapped from Web 2 or Web 3. Um,
Mm,
Sometimes when we will scroll some contents for the recently many people will scroll some contents on Twitter like the traditional AI researcher, designer, and also prompter. They will share contents in public like how to do some prompt engineering, and also there are lots of templates we can use for generating pictures, infographics on Twitter. So I think no matter the asset level, but also contents people share on Twitter will also like merging together, and we can feel that uh, oh, it's not only like crypto native people on CT, but also we can uh, broaden our horizon in such a big world. Yeah, so one of the OG that shared some opinions about this. We don't need to limit it we don't need to limit ourselves to only like crypto native knowledge and contents, but also we can try ourselves to reach out to a broader audience and probably try to share more comprehensive knowledge. Yeah, so I think yeah, sparkle some of my uh, new ideas about all these things.
Bullish, bullish, bullish. I need to learn how to stop writing long ass articles. But
Yeah,
I still think, to be honest, like I know those long articles is not going to be the favorite piece for most of the retail users or most
yeah,
of
maybe
people
for
on
English
Twitter.
circle, yeah, for Chinese audience on Twitter, maybe they may not so favor with the long term like contents or articles, but for English circle we can see like every day like there is a very hot uh long term articles on Twitter every day, and even I will look out the top title yappers every day. Like I will look into what kinds of topics they share every day, and there is a high ratio that most of these accounts that share contents in article. So it's totally different from the contents we see in Chinese market. I think it's very interesting. Yeah, because
Yeah,
for Chinese people, they tend to see some certain contents, infographics, and some gossips recently. So I think it's very totally different.
agree, agree, 100% agree. Um,
Yes.
we cannot change consumer behavior. All we can do is
Yeah.
adapt. We can
Yeah.
influence, but it's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Somehow, most of the content creators need to be adaptive to the phenomenon right now. But maybe we can create a new trend, like um, for any new new style, new trend. I think it's totally worth trying for creating new kind of content creators.
What do you mean by new kind of content on Twitter?
Because now many crypto native not only audience but also KOLs, they always think that actually not so many people cared about the contents we share on Twitter right now. Because people always pay attention to like the short-term contents and gossips on Twitter. Yeah. But if we need I think it's like a intersection stage that many Web2 content creators will try to share their contents on Twitter as well. So maybe we can find a like overlap section. Not only we
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
can share contents, we can share quality contents from ourselves, but also we can find the audience that um, find all this knowledge truly useful for them. Yeah.
Mm. So, I again, I will talk about it from more like a platform perspective, because the reason why every day we are seeing long form article on Twitter being having getting high attention is also what the platform want to see. Because if you think about all the social media, right, what they need to do is they need to capture the maximum attention and time of each of the users. So the longer you stay on each piece of the content, the better and then the more beneficial is for the platform. On the other side is like the only core or the only long-term sustainable value of content, or the only key trick of like acquiring audience is never about like capturing the short-term attention. It's actually delivering value to the users, right? So you can deliver entertainment value to the users, or you can deliver like knowledge base. And then given the composition of Twitter users, it's all a lot of like high tech builders, founders, even content creators. They are like they always engage in deep culture, philosophical, technological AI, like the frontiers of all the thinking process for each of the culture groups. So naturally, the content shift will be, I think, a long form article, or they want to push that so that like people gonna stay on a platform longer. Uh, this will be like I guess like you will also see, um, mm, and this is why like on YouTube you also have like super long like podcasts or long videos, right? It really depends on like what their overall target audience is. But I agree with you, Alvin. Let's definitely like create more variety of contents to capture our core audience. But I gotta get into my stubborn self. It's like I think as long as you have the confidence that okay, you are creating valuable content, then your long-term believer, your long-term supporter will find you. But the what I will find you is how I spread the information out. The distribution
Oh,
channel.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-mm. Okay. Okay, let's talk about stablecoin. Let's
Yeah,
talk about stablecoin because yesterday we literally see you. I think you see the news too, right? Tempo they kind of
yeah.
announced oh they have raised so much money and their background is great. They have so many like and then when they announced their partnership, I'm like, okay, all of those logos or all those projects are like Web two. They have like announced so many big like
Yeah.
potential partnerships from those Web two. But the only confusing part or the only missing part is I don't know how exactly they are going to partnering with each other. It's almost like an announcement of an announcement in a way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not it's not okay, it sounds like a joke, but I'm serious on this. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like from your personal view, like what do you think will be what will be the mode for like a stable coin? I mean, I think for a long term, people already talk about oh the difference between USDC, USDT, their political stand, their distribution channels, right? They have been long term or right now I think like USDT have like probably 60% of the market share overall. Like if you talk about like global adoption, if you talk about like the velocity, if you even talk about the holdings, uh they have 60% of it. But I guess like do you I mean, should we foresee a change in the landscape? I still think like USDT is the most neutral stablecoin holding right now, no matter like how you see from this perspective. USDC you I was talking about USDT, sorry. And then USDC is more of like a US digital dollar play, right? And then you can also see clearly like the I guess the geopolitical or how neutral it is like you can continue to see USDT, their parent company, continuously to keep some reserve in gold or in different like currencies, which just means oh they try to stay as neutral as possible.
Mm. Yeah, for not only stable coins, but also payment related
Mm,
services are two of the hardest narrative that institutions embrace a lot. So I
mm,
think,
mm,
um, though all these narratives maybe a little too far from retail investors and players, but I think it's still the big direction for institutions and investors to follow with.
mm,
And
mm.
for stablecoins, um, I
I
see a
feel
lot of
like
like
mm,
stablecoin related projects. I see some direction. Not only they will try to build their own like internet effect, how to make no matter institution, but also retails adopt their new kind of stablecoin. But also there's a trend that many different regions will also launch their own stablecoins, like digital stablecoins version of Europe, um, or etc. So
mm,
I
mm,
think it's still a an early stage, and like we can see that many there's big giants and institutions getting to the Web3 this year, no matter Stripe, but also Cloudflare. Maybe
mm,
all these
mm.
institutions will also launch their own layer one, own stable coins. And mm, I think maybe the competition will be very, very like um very hard for them. yeah. I'm still very interesting about how they will strengthen their moat and how they marketing different marketing strategy for them. Yeah,
I feel like it's more like a distribution war more than anything else, which I know it sounds cliche, but I can break it down into more details. Like for okay, USDT, they already have so many like cross-border payments network built on the ground across like the globe. So that's why they have been dominated for so many years, right? And then USDC is more like a protection or reactive mode where they say, oh, because right now, like the US government is making all the compliance and all the rules of like who can use what kind of license they need for
yeah,
different kind of financial innovations. This
yeah,
is actually like such a big bullish news for USDC because as like the compliance is more clear, that it just means like there's less rooms for people who doesn't have the license, right? So that's why like they can use like Visa, they can use the at least the banks in the United States to get the TradFi money. Like I'm not worried about that. Like USDT will never be able to penetrate this market the same way as USDC
yeah,
do. And then I think like if we really want to talk about a DeFi option, will be Ethena USDE, right? Because then they are kind of binding with Hyperliquid. They have been they are say, oh, Hyper EVM, we can be used as collateral. They are working together with Aave. So when I think this gonna work really well, especially for in the countries where the compliance is not very clear, and then the license will not be such a mode, then they can push and expand really aggressively there. We also have like USDG, which is more like a Singaporean MAS like approved stablecoin, and then I think they will work so well in Southeast Asia, right? Start with like Singapore. They so this is also like more like a regional play. Uh, and then they just do they just need to like open up, or they just need to capture the Singapore flow, the Southeast Asia flow so well first, and then they think about the global expansion. And then for the temple, to be honest, they are working with like Klarna, UBS. They are working on the B2B payment. I think like the pie is very big, but at the end of the day, I think like people will always, or the capital will always flow into the financial channel where it has the least friction and highest like returns. So me personally, if I really want to bet on this, right? I let me think how I gonna bet this. I'm probably gonna bet. First of all, I will put like 80% of my core bet on those like super highly conviction bets, which here in the case I will think will just be like USDC and USDT, right? And then any related like stocks or growth, like you can
or
put
maybe
your bet.
Circle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Related stocks, right?
mm,
But then the remaining 20%, I will put on like those super highly explosive growth one. That I cannot give you guys the answer right now. I need to think about it, right? Like I need to look into more details of like how much mode actually USDG is in under the Singaporean like its compliance architecture. And I also need to check, okay, how much, like, what is the exact B2B integration that Tempo gonna have? If like their integration with UBS, with Klarna, with all the different apps that they showcase on their website is exclusive, meaning like within the next like 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, it's only then going to be integrated by those financial institutions. I think like the mode gonna be strong. But if it's just saying, "Oh, they're gonna work with them," then the moat, I think we need to put like a percentage of a discount on that. I'm not saying it's very easy to get that. It's still hard. Trust me. Like the trust or pushing traditional finance or all those super big like super apps to work with you is it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of requirement compliance negotiations. I agree, right? And then if they can pull this, it's already a big deal. But I'm just saying, like, if you're really truly putting your money to invest in those and assess how big this opportunity are, we need to do more deeper research on that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. We need to figure out the connection with like the partnership within it. Like there's a new like committee uh just composed of like CFTC regulated um institutions like Kalshi, Polymarket, Gemini, or something, some big players. So I think no matter
What
the crypto industry side, but also AI thing, the speed they are forming a alliance will be much faster than ever. Yeah.
what do you think of Visa stablecoin? What is Visa stablecoin? Visa,
These
I think Visa is
stablecoin.
using USDC. There's no Visa stablecoin. Visa is using
Yeah, yeah,
USDC. So if you
yeah,
want to bet
yeah.
on Visa, if you want to bet, and then I know Circle is paying so much to Visa, so they already have their alliance. If you want to bet on that, then bet on USDC. If you want bet on USDC, bet on Circle. Simple, simple answer. If you
Yeah.
want to,
So
if you want
mm,
to bet on US dollar, you if you want to bet on United States in crypto, bet on Circle.
yeah, that's what we call like American premium effect narrative.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm
it's
pretty sure they're
still
gonna have the
maybe
premium for a while.
one of the biggest narratives in American market.
Mm, mm, mm. Oh, I'm actually so glad like we start to have like an English audience to start us as, and then they are coming from YouTube. Thank you guys for joining, right? This just means like okay,
Yeah.
we are actually like publishing quality content, and we work on all sorts of questions, right? But disclaimer, okay, this is all my personal view, and always
Yeah.
personal view.
Not
Uh,
not any financial advice.
Not financial advice. But I will explain like why I think that or what my logic is. So yeah,
Mm,
when the audience mentioned Visa stablecoin, I was like, "Am I missing this big news? Are they? What are you talking about?" Oh, it's
mm.
USDC. Okay.
Yeah,
I think
actually,
like
Visa is one of the earliest big players digging into stablecoins,
mm,
finality layer, something
mm,
like
mm,
3 to 4 years ago, and also PayPal.
yeah, yeah. But PayPal has PYUSD.
Yeah,
Uh,
they choose Solana for their distribution
Solana.
layer. Yeah,
Oh, I actually.
because right now,
Mm, mm.
Bitcoin is happening, so we can see a lot of news surrounding Solana ecosystem today. Lots of big news, and we can see like all institutions and investors are fully on it, like the um, I forgot. Sorry, I
Solana
forgot the
is
name
a
of the
Solana is a
institution.
is a United States play too. It's a US play too. Mm.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
Yes,
um,
but
no
but I'm
matter
not saying
that many like
um, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, Alvin. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so we can feel that no matter so many big players and investors based in America are embracing Solana ecosystem as well.
Solana is very close to the U.S. government, but I feel
Yeah.
like but the point or the problem I have with Solana ecosystem is like all the builders or the projects there they only play their own game. They only try to like support each other
Yes.
like within their like very exclusively, and they don't have this like cross chain
Yes.
mentality, and then they only play their
Yes.
own liquidity game, which I'm bearish on that because I know you want to protect your all those
Yes. Yes.
people's like uh benefit or profit whatever you can do all the crimes like the way you like, right? I get it, I
Yeah.
get it. But this just
Actually, many
mm,
people addressing this kind of issue previously, like the current base, they build a cross-chain bridge with Solana, right? But Solana says, oh, uh, these need to be permission, not permissionless. So it's totally not a different it's different concept for other players. Yeah.
yeah, so it's only a time like you need to choose. I mean, I think the you can only ride the market wave. You can never defeat the or you can never go against the market wave for any single like institutions unless you are like USDT, you're already capture like 60% or 70% of the global market share, right? Maybe you can
Mm,
influence. But I think like you
yeah.
we I'm just saying like I'm not talking about this just a core ethos. This is the society is going. It's decentralization. It's neutral. People are losing trust in
Yeah.
financial institutions. People are losing trust in those off chain, in those centralized entities, right? No matter like what you said, this is like a lot of people are already awakening, right? Like and then if you push more power and force into that, like the bounce will just be harder. It's just the natural law of universe. so so
Yeah.
I just hope like they can find an angle where they 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 can still have like the amount of control they want, but they can start to interact with the other ecosystems and open up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a humor that if you are Solana builders, if you find the wrong person or circle, you may like make things happen in
just
the end.
one thing.
So
Just one thing. Okay, I've been like testing all the liquidity, on-chain liquidity, right? It shouldn't be exactly called on-chain liquidity because some of the pricing are coming from off-chain, and then it's like it's provided by market maker. I'm referring specifically the overall liquidity, available liquidity on that specific chain for tokenized equities. And I tried BNB chain, I tried the Ethereum, I also tried Solana. And Solana liquidity for all those like stocks is just like horrible. Even the market makers like pricing
yeah,
the
it's
exclusive
one of the
routing
issue people are discussing on CG, right?
it's
Recently,
so
or
fucked. Like if you quote more frequently, they pause the quote. If and then you cannot even purchase like more than like $500 or $1,000. On-chain liquidity is even worse, right? Market
yeah,
makers are also doing a lot of
actually,
crime. I'm
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, but comparing to
act,
this, right?
mm,
Look at like the Ondo, look at Ethereum BNB, right? You can smoothly buy those stocks at least like in the size of 100K, 200K with a
yeah,
minimal slippage, maybe like 0.1% or 0.01% slippage. Which I mean, if you are the trader or the financial institutions that you want to trade like on-chain stock, which one are you going to choose? No matter how much cabal no matter how much cabal you cabal play you're gonna do, like it doesn't change the natural of like I make the trade because I want the minimal slippage, I want the best pricing, and I want to make sure I can profit from it. Okay,
mm.
go ahead,
So
Alvin.
that's why
Sorry.
there's a consensus that people are way more bullish on Ethereum ecosystem because the density and the mm, for other base sector because big institutions will still choose Ethereum for building their products
Of
in the
course,
end.
of course. You
And
you do
and
not
I,
just
I even
consider.
I
Mm,
even attended a base Twitter space this afternoon, and one of the builders they are building a crypto exam base. He mentions that like Coinbase Ventures they are backing up so many projects on base, and they will pour like lots of funds into it, like no matter liquidity or something. So I think yeah, it's the best way that the core ecosystem players need to push it. Like they need to support their projects from builder side, from liquidity side, or something. And people are
yeah.
also expecting the 18th December because the space announced something will happen at that time. So maybe we need to pay attention to it in the coming days.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Like
yeah. Well,
in nearly the same date with EOJ.
oh, there's a lot to talk about next week, Alvin. We should be ready, and you should make sure your internet connection is good next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be
Um.
locked up at Taiwan this month, so no worries.
No traveling.
Not yet this month because I just recovered from a bad flu, so I think December is a month suitable for us to lock in and to give a review of something for this year
Yeah.
or next year. Mm.
Yeah, December. You see, I have been like staying at home. I'm not going anywhere for conference. I'm not going out. I'm just like staying at home, reading, writing, reflecting, and like continuously to talk to people about thoughts. Like, because this is the right moment, and also like because actually a lot of people go on vacation. VCs, builders, like teams, and
Yeah,
then
Christmas
you,
mode.
yeah, Christmas, yeah. So I actually get such a quiet and peaceful time because like there will not be 1,000 people pinging me every single morning, and then I get to like work on my consolidated thoughts. And I know this kind of moment is rare. Like starting the beginning of next year, like you already have all the conference wave, and then at that time, like all the strategies I'm working on as well as the product will be ready. So I know I have to get on the road and like show to people, recommend. So I'm actually like aware consciously like cherishing this moment right now. But Alvin,
Yeah.
we need to remember we do our year end conclusion, year end prediction episode. Like we have to do that.
Mm. We can run a simple AI review first, then then share with it in real time. I think it will be
Mm-mm.
interesting.
Yeah. How do you mean like upload the video content, or what is it? Or is it more like, oh, we dump all the notes
Yeah,
that we have wrote
we
about?
can
Mm.
we can directly like convert the video contents into text and like try to integrate with AI for them to summarize for us first. Yeah, because I
Oh, I
think
need to
for
look into
the
that. Mm.
for now we have nearly 220 episodes. We really like have a lot of contents in the past few months.
Yeah, we have today is the 16th episode. And I can
Yeah.
confidently say that Alvin, we have been improving since day one. And I truly
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I feel very honored to be working alongside with you on this series because I'm
Yeah.
every single time I'm learning a lot. I always say this, right? But this is like truly how I
Mm,
feel. And but I think
yeah.
like the year end review, we can talk about, oh, what we didn't do really well, what we did well, and then like going forward, oh, 2026, how do we want to change those episodes going forward?
Mm,
And I think like we definitely need to do more short clips out of our episodes because I think we talk about a lot of like core concepts as well as like our share our personal thoughts many times. But if for those people who doesn't really watch the full live stream, they wouldn't know, right? And then nobody gonna say,
yeah.
oh, I gonna watch this like random live stream for an hour to just extract information, and it's our job to extract it for them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyways, um, okay. I think we have like only limited time left. Probably we wouldn't have much time to go through the AI things. We can keep it to our next episode.
Ah,
Um,
yes,
but
yes.
mm, but before we, I guess, wrap up this call, like any like let's think about any like final sharing.
Final sharing.
Mm.
Try to embrace yourself with any new technologies coming out in the coming years. 'Cause I think no matter the algorithm, but the new products will ship very quickly in the coming years. And maybe if you don't try it right now, maybe you will regret it in the end.
Mm. I think.
That is an interesting proverb. 俗语怎么说？谚语 proverb.
Mm,
There
I
there
think.
there's not much
Mm.
there's not much time left for humans.
Oh! Okay, we need a full episode. I think
But it's
for
only joking. Yeah, but it's very interesting.
mm, for my core takeaway, I think being a business or being an individual human being, no matter which competition, which spectrum you are trying to improve, right? You want to increase your influence, you want to increase the company's market share. The best way to tackle competition is to face it directly and not try to build a closed end system, because it's either like if you grow big enough, right, and you close up, all the enemies gonna break you down. And it and if you are small enough, it just like there's not enough people caring about you. So it's inevitable to face the competition and open it up in some way,
Mm,
both as a human
mm.
being and business. So
Oh,
let's embrace the volatility and uncertainty.
yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Very sweet. Uncertainty. Quite important,
Mm,
especially in these volatile world. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for joining our live stream today. It has been an exciting week. I mean, I think the FOMC meeting is a good news for the market. I mean, at least we will
Yeah.
enjoy this cheerfulness for the next 5 to 6 days before the BOJ meeting.
Mm.
So
Yeah. 100%.
enjoy it, enjoy it while you have it.
Yeah. We need to be happy at the end of the year. Hope so. Hope so.
Let's try to be content. That's first step, and then you have like small moments of happiness. But anyways, bye guys.
Yeah. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye bye.